All right, as we look at all that's going on in the aggregate, Bitcoin and the others have shed as much as $500 billion in total crypto market cap just since Friday. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, it is still seeing its largest two-day drop since 2022 and has lost its grip on 54,000. Ethereum is recording its largest two-day drop since 2021. So let's bring in one of the top voices in the cryptoverse. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Pomp Investments investor Anthony Pompliano. Anthony, how do you assess what's going on here in the crypto market compared to the stock market?
Liz, I think that this is a classic dislocation between the fundamentals and the price action. Most of the crypto sellers have lost their minds, in my opinion. If you look at what was going on a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we were at peak euphoria. Bitcoin was at 70,000. Today, it's down in the low 50,000s. Nothing has changed. You continue to see Bitcoin be the strongest computer network in the world. It still has hundreds of millions of people who hold this. It's still, if not the best, debasement hedges available to us in finance. And so I think that this is a classic signal where you get this fear and panic that spreads throughout financial markets. People run to their accounts and they sell. But ultimately, looking at the fundamentals, nothing has changed. And so those with long-term thinking end up surviving and thriving much better than those with short-term thinking.
You know, there's a saying on Wall Street and certainly on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange that the great Teddy Weisberg has said to me in the past: when everything is going downhill, you don't sell what you want to sell. You sell grandma's pearls, what you have to sell. Do you think that there is some selling where people are cashing out their crypto to meet margin calls elsewhere?
I think there's probably some of that. That's probably happening more in the stock market, given the carry trade that everyone's been talking about in Japan. But, you know, short-term thinking is a mental disease that has infiltrated all of finance. And I don't think crypto is kind of insulated from that. When you go and you look at many of these sellers, they're usually people who are looking for short-term profits. All of a sudden, the price goes against them, sometimes with margin. And so they begin to sell. Now, what's really interesting is that still more than 50% of all Bitcoin is held by people that have long-term kind of strong hands. They haven't sold or moved their Bitcoin in over a year. And so half of all of the circulating supply is illiquid, and that tends to support Bitcoin from going down even further. So yes, a 25+% drawdown is big, but we used to see 30 and 40% drawdowns. And so actually these drawdowns have become more muted than they were in past cycles.
Pomp, Fed Fund futures are now all in, not just for a 25 basis point cut in September, not just a 50 basis point cut in September, but there is now a significant percentage odds that we will see a 75 basis point cut. Now, what do you make of that, and how would crypto react if the Fed were to swoop in?
I think all asset prices like cheap money. And obviously, the Fed, one thing that they have gotten right, although it hasn't been much, but one thing they have gotten right is they have a lot of ammunition now. So if we do head into a recessionary period, if we do start to continue to see a market drawdown, they have 5.5% rates where they can go and they can cut aggressively. And so I actually think that there's a chance they may do an emergency rate cut this week if we continue on the path that we're on. I don't think that it's likely, but there is a chance. And then that rate cut in September is going to continue to get deeper and deeper as the market goes down. And so the Fed has the room to do it. There's an argument that they over-rotated. They've stayed with higher rates for too long. And so now that they've got that ammunition, we saw in 2020, they've perfected the playbook to be able to cut rates and print money. And I think we're going to head back to that regime here coming into the end of the year.
How are you viewing the stock market sell-off as it pertains to the stocks that are in the cryptoverse, whether it's Marathon Digital or Coinbase and all of the crypto names that are out there at the moment?
Yeah, one of the interesting things on the way up was that a lot of the crypto equities outperformed the spot kind of prices. And so on the way down, you should expect the same thing to happen. That's what we've been seeing. But, you know, speaking of the stock market, one of the most interesting data points to me right now is the correlation between Trump's presidential odds of winning and the stock market performance. As his odds went up, we saw the stock market go up. As his odds started to come down, we then saw the stock market to come down. And so that correlation is something that I'm watching very closely. It's true for non-crypto stocks, but also very true for kind of crypto equities as well.
Yeah, well, we're looking at everything from Robinhood to Coinbase to all of these other names that are looking pretty sort of like green around the gills, red around the gills. Pomp, it's great to see you. Thank you very, very much.